Hello everyone around here. I've been playing around with this new technology called ChatGPT. Many of you may have heard of it. I've been playing around with it for about a week now and I'm utterly blown away by it. So what is ChatGPT? Well, ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot that can do, well, pretty much anything. It can code, it can write articles. If you are a YouTube content creator, uh, it can be used to create content for you. For example, I saw a YouTube content creator who is a drone pilot, and he asked ChatGPT to create 5 ways to use this drone to make money, and the artificial intelligent chat system generated a human-like response that gave him 5 ways to use his drone to make money. It can help you decorate your home, do research, create procedures, say, for how to treat a first degree burn. You're only limited by your own imagination. And this is all done in a conversational way. The technology scales each time element. In other words, it learns every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every month, etc., etc., etc. Now, this is the Chat GPT website. It's over at openai.com. I recommend that you go there and check it out. If you click on the About link at the top, it says here that OpenAI is an AI research and deployment company. Our mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. If we are to scroll down and look at who's involved, it says that OpenAI LP is governed by the board of the OpenAI nonprofit, comprised of OpenAI LP employees. Greg Brockman, he's the chairman and president, and Elia Stutzkever, I tortured that name, the chief scientist, Sam Altman, who's the CEO, and these other non-employees. Now, I've heard rumor that Elon Musk is also involved with this company. So, without further ado, let me show you how it works. Once you land on the OpenAI website, you can sign up. So you come down, you'll see a link here somewhere. You have to log in. You go here, and if you have a Gmail account, you can log in by clicking here, continue with Google, or you can just enter an email address and create an account. Then you log in and you will be presented with this interface. As I've mentioned earlier, you can ask this thing anything. For example, I'm going to ask it a scientific question. I like science, having taught electronics for 15 years. I'm going to ask it, what is the atomic number of an atom? Be specific, atomic number of the carbon atom. And we click OK. It says here that the atomic number of carbon is 6. That is correct. The atomic number is an element of the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom of that element. It is also equal to the number of electrons and neutrons of that element. Carbon has 6 protons in its nucleus, which gives it the atomic number of 6. So I know that this is correct. The carbon atom does indeed have 6 neutrons and 6 protons and 6 electrons that orbit the atom. Now, you could ask it, you could say, well, tell me more. Click OK. It's thinking. Sure. The atomic number of an element is a fundamental property of that element, and it gives you a more detailed response. I'm going to click New Chat. Let's ask it something else. Let's ask it, write me a 1,000 word article on the 5 best national parks to visit. And click OK. Yosemite National Park. And it gives details about that particular park. Number 2, Yellowstone. Location, Wyoming and Idaho. Number 3, the Grand Canyon. Location and details. 4, Rocky Mountain National Park. And 5, Acadia National Park. Shows the location in Maine, and I would like to go there, and it gives details there. So I could copy and paste this 1,000 word article onto a blog website, and it's my content. And what's written here, it's unique, so it's not being plagiarized. So that's interesting. Let's create a new chat by clicking that button at the upper left hand corner, and let's ask it something else. What items do you recommend taking on a 10-day road trip? Let's see how it responds to that question. Look at that. Here's some items that you may want to consider bringing on a 10-day road trip: clothing, packing up outfits for the entire trip, personal care items, medications, food and drinks. And so I could copy and paste this onto a blog website, and that would be my content for that. Or I can use it on the YouTube channel, and as I'm speaking to my subscribers and those who are not my subscribers, just go through this list and entitle that video items recommended for a 10-day road trip. So here we have it. All right, let's stop that, do chat. And you can also say, tell me more, for example. Let's ask it something more technical. I'm going to say, draw me. Of course, it's not going to draw, but I'm going to say, draw me a series electronic circuit consisting of a 10-volt DC power source and a 1 ohm resistor. Okay, it's saying begin by drawing a circle to represent the power source. In other words, you're writing a circle and you're putting inside that circle 10 volts. So it's basically telling you just to draw a line from that circuit. Oh, look, it's actually drawing the circuit. I didn't know it could do that. So it's showing the 10-volt power source, the 1 ohm resistor. Of course, the circuit would be more. I wouldn't do it like this. I would have the 10-volt power source, then having coming off of that the resistor symbol, which is zigzag lines, and complete that circuit by, well, this symbolizes the ground right here. So this would be a complete circuit. This is more simplified. And if I ask it what is the current in this circuit, I know the voltage, I know the resistance, but what is the current? And current in Ohm's law is I, represented for current, equals voltage, which is V, over R, resistance. So let's ask it here, what is the current of this circuit? So it remembers what I previously asked it. It says to determine the current of this circuit, you can use Ohm's law, yes, which states that current, like I mentioned, represented by I, is voltage over resistance, right here, that's the formula. And it did the calculation. Therefore, the current in this circuit is 10 amps. That is correct. So this is incredible technology. Let's try one more. I'm going to ask it to create a JavaScript code. And notice that I'm typing in a conversational way. Create a JavaScript code for a clock, for a digital clock, showing hours, minute, and seconds. Let's say hours, minutes, hours. Let's make that plural. It probably doesn't make any difference, but hours, minutes, and seconds that I can use on my website. In other words, I'm asking it to create a JavaScript code of a digital clock that I can copy and paste onto a website. Let's see if it can do that. Here's JavaScript code that you can use to create a digital clock. And look at that, it's actually generating code, showing the opening and closing div tags, the opening script tag. And once it's done creating that code, I can click on this copy code link here and paste this into my website. And I can even go in here and change the colors of how I want that clock to display. And it's giving instructions on how to use this code. It says to use this code on your website, you can simply copy and paste it into the HTML file where you want the clock to appear. And I know how to do that. The clock will automatically update every second to show the current time. Wow, incredible. Let's ask it one more question and I'll close this video. But again, you can see here that what you can do with this is limited by your own imagination now. Let's say if you are a person who likes to write children's books. And for the sake of brevity, I'm going to ask it to write me a 2-page, and whatever it decides what 2 pages are, a 2-page article, or let's say page story for kids. And let's make that even more specific, for kids from the age of 8 to 10 that highlights the importance of honesty. Okay, let's see if we can do that. You can ask it to write yourself a term paper, for example. Look at that. Once upon a time, a small village nested in the heart of the forest. There lived a young boy named Max. Max was an honest and hardworking child, always willing to lend a helping hand and to those in need. One day, while Max was out playing with his friends, he stumbled upon a shiny golden coin lying on the ground. His heart raced with excitement as he picked it up and examined it closely. "Wow," he exclaimed, "I've never seen anything like this before." As he was admiring the coin, Max's neighbor, Mrs. Smith, approached him. "Max, have you seen my missing coin?" she asked. "I've been looking for it everywhere and can't seem to find it." Max hesitated for a moment, his hand clenched tightly around the coin. He knew that he should be honest and tell Mrs. Smith the truth, but the temptation to keep the coin for himself was too great. "No, Mrs. Smith," he said, trying to hide the coin behind its back. "I haven't seen your coin." Mrs. Smith, disappointed, turned to leave. But Max couldn't shake the guilt he felt for lying to his neighbor. He knew that honesty was the right thing to do, and he couldn't live with himself if he didn't confess. So Max ran after Mrs. Smith and called out to her. "Wait, Mrs. Smith," he said. "I have your coin. I found it on the ground, and I was afraid to tell you the truth." Mrs. Smith was overjoyed when Max returned the coin to her. "Thank you, Max," she said. "I am so glad you had the courage to be honest. Honesty is always the best policy, no matter how hard it may seem." From that day on, Max learned the importance of honesty and always made sure to tell the truth no matter what the circumstances. And he lived happily ever after, knowing that honesty was the key to a happy and fulfilling life. The end. That's pretty good. And so one could No, you can modify this or leave it as it is, but you can actually create an entire children's book just by going to ChatGPT and say if you wanted to create, say, a 5 chapter book on certain qualities that you would like to see in children, and these are books for kids. Just each chapter could be about a different quality. In this case, chapter 1, for example, would be a story about a child being honest. So, again, you're limited by your own imagination. So that's all I have for you right now as far as using Chat GPT. So there you have it. This is Ron from Ron's World. You guys have a great day.